Have you ever been in awe of athletes who had abilities beyond mere physical prowess, captivating us with their distinct combination of talent and mystique? Presenting Paul George, the mysterious PG-13. Why are his plays so capricious? How does his ability to defend add depth to the mystery? Does he really refuse a conclusive response when the game is on the line? Come us on this adventure as we explore the intricacies of Paul George's game and wonder whether there is a perfect method for solving this NBA puzzle. Prepare to go with us into the unexplored realm of basketball genius, the PG-13 boom. It has been quite the trip for Paul George to go from a rookie playing in the shadow of more experienced players to a two-way force. His powerful drives and three-point accuracy demonstrate his offensive variety, which furthers the mystery. In addition to his ability to score, George's defensive perseverance makes him a complete player by forcing opponents to deal with a versatile threat. George's influence on team chemistry has grown along with his game. He changed from being a danger to score points to a loud leader who mentors teammates and affects the direction of the game. Finding a single solution to the Paul George conundrum is made more difficult by the additional dimension of leadership. Unpredictability. George's most powerful tool, Paul George, is an enigma because of his unpredictable nature. George keeps defenders guessing by switching between on-ball and off-ball moves with ease. Because of his versatility in the middle of the game, coming up with a single defensive plan is difficult, and every meeting becomes a game of chess, where the hardest part is guessing his movements. Furthermore, George's ingenuity off the ball and adaptability to defensive strategies highlight the mental side of his game. In addition to having to cope with his physical prowess, opponents also have to prepare for the impromptu judgments he may make during a game. Ice in his veins. The clutch gene. Paul George's clutch performances are characterized by his composed temperament and assurance during pivotal occasions. In the last minutes of the game, defenders are put in a difficult situation when they face a player who performs well under pressure. Beyond only reading music, George demonstrates leadership qualities by directing plays and using sound judgment when under duress. George possesses a clutch gene that goes beyond statistical performance. It seeps into the group's mentality, giving them self-assurance and faith in the face of difficulty. George's presence during crucial periods not only adds to the psychological pressure on opponents, but also increases the complexity of the problem they must solve. Defensive conundrums. George's skill on defense adds to the intricacy of his offensive tasks. George, a consistent contender for the all-defensive team, upsets opponents with his length, athleticism, and basketball IQ. The combination of his offensive and defensive prowess makes solving the Paul George equation more challenging. In addition to having to worry about stopping George from scoring, defenses also have to deal with his ability to read plays, obstruct passes, and make critical stops. Teams are forced to reconsider their offensive tactics and take into account the greater significance of George's defensive efforts because of the constant danger he presents on both ends of the floor. George versus coaches in the chess game. When facing Paul, George coaches are up against a continuous game of chess. Changes in defensive tactics, such as deciding between toughness and quickness, highlight the ongoing attempt to neutralize his special mix of skills. George adds another level of complexity to every clash by adjusting to defensive systems, making it a tactical duel. Beyond his abilities on the court, George has a deep grasp of the game of chess. His reputation as an intellectual powerhouse on the court is further cemented by his ability to quickly ascertain the strategy of opposing coaches and make well-considered counter moves. Coaches find themselves put to the test psychologically as they try to figure out how to outwit the mysterious PG-13. Under pressure. Leadership. Paul George's influence goes beyond numbers to include leadership under duress. Because of his playmaking and court vision, which make him the go-to guy in pivotal situations, stopping him becomes an even more difficult issue. George's capacity to boost his teammates' spirits and give them confidence increases the difficulty defenders must overcome. George's leadership turns into a game-changer under duress. Whether he's calling plays, making the perfect throw, or just being a steadying force, his impact on the team's overall performance is evident. The development of the PG game. Paul George's ongoing development as a player keeps opponents from depending on past performance. George has evolved from a defensive specialist in his early years to a full-fledged offensive force that makes opponents always aware of his movements. The continuous story of his development necessitates that opponents evaluate his present skills instantly. Off-ball proficiency. George's ability to play off the ball gives the task an additional element of difficulty. He is a headache for defenses because he can locate open areas, navigate screens, and score with his catch-and-shoot ability. In order to demonstrate George's whole command of the game, opponents must be alert both with and without the ball. Psychological combat. On the court, Paul George uses psychological warfare to divert opponents' attention. His resilience to hardship and ability to remain composed under duress are more pieces of the jigsaw. Defenders have to maneuver not just via his physical prowess, but also through the mental toughness that characterizes Paul George's strategy. Injury. The last crusade. Despite George's inconsistent play, opponents could exploit his history of injuries. Considering George's proven toughness and robust recuperation process, devising a strategy to capitalize on weaknesses necessitates a careful balance. Deciphering the Paul. George Riddle becomes more difficult when considering the conundrum of taking advantage of his shortcomings without undervaluing his capacity to overcome hardship. Conclusion. The story continues as we conclude our investigation into the mysterious world of Paul George, and the mysteries remain. Can you predict the turns and turns this NBA tale will take in the upcoming chapters? What mysteries await those trying to solve the constantly changing PG-13 code? Though we've only just begun to explore his depths of genius, the tale is far from over. When the story bends next, will you be there to see them? Give up thinking and making predictions and jump into the discussion. To remain engrossed in the fascinating mysteries of basketball, like, comment, and subscribe. Your enthusiasm drives our research. What riddles will the court solve till then? We appreciate you being an essential part of our basketball community and want you to stay attentive and involved.